going to be Mirage, and as alluded to, Mirage the map choice of Renegades, so it's looking like it should be a fairly comfortable 2-0 victory for them today after getting that 16 and 3 on Train. Chiefs will start off on the CT side though, and they're immediately going for a 4-1 split, which doesn't look so good, Pilly, because Renegades are headed towards that B site.
Yep. Two smokes getting readied by Dexter and Sicko, and a handful of flashbangs, and send the trio of Ins, Malta, and Hat straight into the bomb site, straight at Jinx, who I've seen go big in this situation before, but he is full white.
Yeah, Hats is going to go ahead and fall on over. Jinx does a good job of holding down the fort for as long as he can, but the rest of Chiefs have such a long rotation that there's not really going to be anyone there to assist him at all. Bomb plant does go down. Smoke flying on in, goes a bit deep. Apoc Dud in front of it. We'll go 1 for 1. You can hear the footsteps coming up now in the apartments. Humongous gives away his position, getting the kill onto Sicko. All said and done, though, not looking too bad until Dexter and Ins find a killer piece, and Maker's on his own. He's not out quickly enough from Market. They do know where Dexter is, but he's going to drop his own flash down and deal with Maker so easily indeed. That's another pistol on the board for Renegades, and just another good start for them.
Yeah, Chiefs pegged a few kills back. Didn't look like it was going too badly for them at moments in that round, but like you said, you know, even in those 2-on-3 situations, you just can't count these Renegades players out. They can come away with a couple of quick headshots, and all of a sudden, you know, a round that you thought was going in your favor has quickly started to turn around. So now Chiefs, 4 Deagles and armor purchased up. Apoc Dud saving a bit of cash. Yeah, I think Renegades is feeling pretty comfortable. I think the correct approach for Chiefs is probably just, you know, try to get a little bit looser, try to just get a little bit aggressive, maybe try to catch Renegades off guard a little bit and try to get yourselves warmed up into this series, because I think that, like I said, if you're just going to try and play this out the same as always, it's not going to work out well for you.
Yeah, I would say so. Renegades are playing relatively slowly in this round, not giving anything away to Chiefs just yet. Bit of utility being thrown in there by both sides, looking to keep mid under pressure. We do see Dexter loves to work his way around connector here, and we sort of alluded to that and spoke about that in the Skybox segment at the start of the show. This time a bit of a different approach from him, as he seems to have actually committed to connector, but he'll be holding for those rotations as Renegades again head towards the B bomb site. Maker! Oh, Maker! That is something special. That is something different. And finally, something to get a bit excited about for Chiefs as Maker finishes off Ins as well. That's a round. I don't know where that's come from, but that might wake you up a little bit. At least I would hope so. If you're in that Chiefs camp, they're going to need something after the 16-3 thrashing, but Makers started off well. This gives Chiefs the chance to get off on the right foot here on Mirage.
That's what it's got to be for Chiefs. It's got to be some individual brilliance. And that's the kind of bite that we didn't see at any point in the T side of Train, really.
Yep.
Even the rounds where they were winning, it was like they got one pick, then just sensibly regrouped. That's what we want to see from Chiefs. Where's the big plays? Where's the individuals firing up?
Well, this is the first one that we've seen in this matchup.
Going to need a lot more, because Renegades is surely going to strike back with a few of their own.
Well, hopefully we're going to get it. Renegades looking to strike back in this round as well. They've picked up some Deagles and armor.
It is a force bite. Chiefs under balcony and CT crossfire. Apoc Dud with the AUG trying to provide some support. No real control of mid here for Chiefs, which is allowing Renegades to just walk around and do whatever they want. You can see Dexter itching to get up connector any second.
Apoc Dud does need to be a little bit careful that he doesn't peek too far forward, otherwise Malta's liable to take his head off. At the moment it's Dexter and Sicko who are working in from connector. Malta starts now to make his inroads onto the site as well. He'll check down. And it's Dexter that gets the kill onto Skull, who jumped up onto the balcony. But the trades are coming through from Chiefs relatively comfortably. My only concern is Hats. His position's been checked. Well done by Jinx and finished off. Dexter in a 1-on-3. Has to retrieve the bomb. Only 30 seconds left here. And I'd say right now, the name of the game is trying to do some damage to that CT economy, which won't really end up happening. Maker finishes off that final frag, and Chiefs go 2-1 up.
Beautiful. Nice anti-force. That's going to put them in a good position to close out this anti-eco, which means they'll have a little bit of cash here on the CT side moving forward. Already, I'd say, off the back of that, Chiefs are already doing better than the entirety of Train. it couldn't really have gotten worse. But I have to say, we're starting to see them wake up a little bit. Question is, you can get some good rounds, you can get yourselves rolling a little bit, but at that point, you're only really going to get Renegades to start to respect you. And from that point, you really need to continue this consistency.
Well, just a couple of flashbangs in the back pocket of Renegades here. Oh, a smoke's been thrown down as well. So it's evident that what they're trying to do is get that bomb down, and they've managed to do just that. It's a clean sweep for Chiefs in the round, but bomb does go down for Renegades. So again, they get something out of it.
I don't think Chiefs can be too worried about that kind of stuff at this point. They just need to keep their guns up. They need to keep themselves strong with the economy. Need to give themselves as little snags to trip up on as possible, because when the mistakes start to come out, or when some of these Renegades players start to step into the server a little bit more, that's when Chiefs need to be like, okay, we made a bit of a mistake there, or maybe Dexter had a good round, something like that. We still have the economy to fall back on and give ourselves another shot, give themselves more consistency over time to continue closing out some rounds. But already, let's look at it for what it is. It's a great position for Chiefs. They're up 3-1. They haven't lost many guns. Their economy is very strong. Let's see if they can continue this.
Well, Hugh going to go on the aggressive in toward mid. Actually, it's Maker that takes the first peek there, and that's not worked out too nicely at all. Hats a bit of a turret here on Mirage. Decent trade, though, does come in from Hugh, who now is going to have to be aware that Sicko's continuing to push. It just seems like there's always another Renegade.
And this is where these messy 3-on-3s tend to favor Renegades. The Chiefs, they're all split up around the map. Jinx and Skull are now playing together up towards this B outside of the map, and they're going to be pushing into B apartments straight into Malta.
Yeah, not a fun time based on what Malta was able to do on train. There's the first. He's got a flash in hand. Jinx is not quite able to deal with both Malta and Inns, and so that's cracked open the B site. Bogdad rotates across. He's got a scoped weapon in hand. It's an AUG, though, not the AWP, not his signature weapon. And he does have to deal with a 2-on-1. A flash pops right in his face, and so time of the essence here for him, as he still is not yet out of market. Only now creeping on out. And that timer is ticking away pretty quickly indeed. Double peek from Renegades, and Bogdad's got no idea where to look. It's Renegades 2 on the board. The economy not quite reset yet for Chiefs, but
I like the reaction from Chiefs. They went for a bit of aggression, and it seemed like it was working out well for them. Ended up in the 3-on-3, and they tried to take the initiative. They tried to push towards B apartments to either get some information or just try to pick off a player on the flank, but unfortunately, the fact that they got the trade and that Inns was close enough to get one back pretty much meant that that round was over. But like I said before, they have the economy to be able to sustain that loss. Now they're going to go into a double up setup, and Hugh's getting aggressive top mid. This is exactly what we want to see from him. A push into Palace as well from Skull.
Ooh. Dex has been caught off guard by that. I'm sure he'll be looking for some revenge later on down the track. It seems as though Renegades, off the back of that kill that's gone onto Dexter, have decided to pick up the pace in toward apartments. Malta looking for that entry onto B. He's now down by Van, but Jinx so close and unexpected. A good swing around from Hats, but they have more Chiefs to deal with, and they're not doing it so well at the moment. Inns cops a bink through the wall, down to 19 HP. Bomb is pretty much committed to the B site, and it's really on to Sicko here. Needs to win that aim duel in mid against Skull. Doesn't. And Chiefs, they build themselves another nice round here on the CT side. Definitely much more tough going than what we saw on train for Renegades.
Yeah, they need to kill Inns without losing a single player, though. Keep 4 players surviving so that they can, again, as you saw in that last round, they did get economically reset. They had to fully reinvest into all of their money into this buy. And if they had lost this round, if they had lost after purchasing the double AWP to this buy round of Renegades, then they would have been completely reset and they would have had to take a save. But this time, if they can close it out, again, a convincing CT round, then they can close out a good anti-eco where Renegades is liable to buy up a couple of Deagles, maybe even an AK on one of their players or something like that. Wouldn't be too surprised to see it.
Yeah, Lookins could save this AK through.
That's going to be somewhat dangerous for Chiefs to be dealing with. But they're looking much better here on Mirage, Jordan. Much, much better. Hugh's back in that mode, you know. But it's all of them stepping up, you know. Skull's winning some duels. Jinx is getting active, holding down that B site. All of them are contributing across the board. But we need to see that continue. because we've seen them streak a half together where all 5 of them can play quite well, but over a larger sample size, let's be real and see this series for what it is.
Yep.
This needs to be a reverse sweep. That means 2 whole maps where they need to keep this up. That's what they've really been struggling to do lately.
Bit of armor purchase behind the AK that Inns was able to save on through. Dexter and Hats can potentially pick up that hero AK if they do need to. The AK, of course, up there in Palace at the moment. So it looks like it'll be an A split between the Renegades members. Hats has a smoke, Inns a flash. Not really much to get them into the site.
Apocdad swapping over with Skull, who's going to mine the murder hole now. Be careful not to get caught off guard by Renegades here. Hugh holding on default, supported by Apocdad with that AWP at ticket or triple. It's a decent setup here. Surely Skull has heard that.
Oh, just turns away at the wrong time. Almost punished for it. Indeed, is punished for it. Inns walks out on balcony and gets 2 entry frags on A.
That's a round.
That's unbelievable. Flash flying through now into CT spawn as well. Keeps Skull at bay. Not going to be able to deny the bomb plant. Not that there really was much of an option for that. And Chiefs have to save. Unbelievable.
I think you just need to save all 3 of these guns, but I don't think Dexter's going to let them. Look at his positioning. He's already pushed underpass up towards B apartments. You can see right from the get-go, Renegades, they hit a couple of nice shots, but now they're already setting up the net. They're hunting down these last couple of Chiefs players. They just want to reset their economy right here and now.
No reason not to. Renegades have gotten a streaky round, which is going to be a massive boost to their economy, even if they lose a couple of guns here. Jinx on short, yet to be spotted, and he gets his way into ladder room, so should be okay here to save the M4. My God.
Chiefs is broke, though. And Renegades, you could see they had like 2k in the bank across most of their players heading into that round. That was just the AK and a couple of Deagles and light armor. So now Renegades heading into this round before they buy, you could see they had like 5 or 6k in the bank.
How does he get away with that? This could be the turning point in the map.
It could be, because if Chiefs have won that one, you know, they're starting to cruise forward again. They're starting to get themselves a little bit comfortable. They have a little bit of money to fall back on.
Not
now
so.
They have to take the save.
Seems like we're reverting back to train form. Sicko this time the opener for Renegades. AWP in hand. Gets to pick up the A ramp while Dexter and Hats explore mid. There's a few Chiefs players holding on to that area of the map.
Oh.
Ooh, hang on. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves here as Sicko also cops a bink.
The Dinks.
Jinx making that M4 work for him. He'll know that Sicko's hanging around here as well in that cutout. They can't spam him down, and Sicko's going to get out okay. Meanwhile, the A-bomb site is being taken by Malta and Inns, working in conjunction, throwing a lot of utility. And it's Inns that'll look for the entry frags. Exactly as you say, Apocdad full white, and Inns gets the freest kill of his life. Now it's going to be a bomb plant time, and maybe Jinx can get the timing pushing through this smoke. But he elects not to. He elects to wait. Now decides to push on in. That grenade just goes past him. Skull's really just trying to bait at the moment for Jinx, but they probably just elect to take that AK and M4 into the next round. It was almost something for Chiefs.
Both very low. Just wanted to be holding on to these weapons. Can't blame them. It's going to be a 4th for Renegades. Surviving with 3 guns, really going to start to help to build up their money here on the T side. As for Chiefs, saving 2 weapons, going to keep their economy pretty nice heading into this next one. Apocdad, plenty of money to go for the AWP. So Chiefs, at this point, they've let that advantage that they had a few rounds ago slip a little bit. So now they're going to take a tactical timeout. The position that they're at this point in the game, they need to win probably this gun round and the next to be able to put Renegades on the ropes a little bit economically and start to get towards that 6-7 rounds on that CT side, which is probably what you're looking for on Mirage.
Yep. Nine and 3. A better performance from Inns here in the second map than what we saw in the first. And the exact same for Malta, but the opposite. He's slowed down a little bit. Not that we expected him to really keep those numbers up from what we saw on train. And that's kind of what I like about this Renegades roster. It's not like you really are relying on one individual to kind of carry the game. Every single game is someone different doing something. You know, last game it was Malta. This game it's Ins. Earlier on in Road to Rio, we saw Sicko going pretty bananas against Order. So it's just a group effort. And you can kind of rely on any one of those individuals to put in the hard yards when it's required. Not to say that right now it is necessarily required, though. Progressing along pretty nicely. 4-4 against Chiefs. It's not the greatest of starts for either side, but it's kind of hanging in the balance at the moment. And Chiefs, certainly, their economy is hanging in the balance. Renegades do, at least on the T side, have a little bit of a buffer with that money there for Sicko and Ins.
Looks like Renegades is kind of expecting some aggression. 2 players waiting for the underpass will be apartments push. 2 players playing very passively in towards top mid. You've got Ins waiting outside Palace, T spawn side. A minute on the clock. Renegades has wasted a fair bit of time just waiting for this aggression. Now none has come out. What's the plan? Smoke into window. Starting to make their way up middle. Really running the clock down here. This is a great opportunity for Chiefs. If they can pick the right timing in the mid-round to get themselves a definitive advantage and sort of break down whatever Renegades has in store here as they start to walk into B apartments with the bomb. Jinx alone on an island here at the B bomb site once again. No support for him whatsoever. Baker's holding on to short for the time being, but he's just been cleared out a ladder. This is a very tough situation for Jinx here.
Surely you're not going to see someone get multi-frags from this position again. Renegades have to check it. Timing's good, though, for Jinx. He's dropped the bomb carrier, but not aware Sicko is still waiting at the bottom of apps. He'll be traded on down. Malta, though, has a lot of work to do to get back up and get that bomb.
No time.
As you mentioned, the timer ticks over past that 4-second mark, and Chiefs will win the round. Renegades just not giving themselves enough leeway there.
Yeah. Just waited too long for that aggression. Didn't sort of have a clear back out plan.
It's huge from Jinx, dropping the bomb right on top of apartments.
I've noticed Renegades has been running the clock down a lot this tournament compared to in previous times.
Right.
Seems to be something they're doing a lot on the T side. So from time to time, that's sort of going to backfire on you. It's mostly worked out for them because a lot of these teams, I feel like, aren't testing them as much. But from time to time, it can really backfire. And that's one big example of that. Chiefs, money is still not great for them, though. However, if they do win this round, this will be the critical one. They can give themselves a little bit more room to work with, and then they're back to where they were before Renegades won that round with the 2 deagles and the AK. They're back in a position where they've got a bit of room to work with, economically speaking. They're starting to feel a little bit more comfortable.
But they haven't run away with it yet. And I'd argue that Chiefs are going to have to run away with one of these halves. Obviously, it might not happen here on the CT side. If they do give themselves an extra bit of room, though, you know, 9, 10 rounds on this CT side to what Renegades would then pick up in that instance, just give them that little bit of an extra leeway on the second half that may give them the room to get over the line. Hugh gets a nice 1-for-1. So Renegades do actually pick up the pace a little bit in this round. 1 minute 24 on the clock, and they're already starting to hit the A bomb site. Molotovs, flashes, smokes go in the direction of jungle, enabling Dexter to push forward and take that area of the map. So a deep position for Dexter, and Skull not aware of it, not prepared for it. And Apoc Dud also loses the AWP battle against Sicko. It's looking much better here for Renegades in this round, having that extra time to work with. And Chiefs are essentially routed on the A site, having to back away now.
Just when they needed a round, Renegades is able to get one back, and unfortunate. That's going to put Chiefs in a situation where they're probably just about to get reset. Put on an eco, there you go, 1,800 in the bank for Maker, 1,700 for Skull Hunter. It's a nightmare situation, Jordan. 4 alive for the Renegades. They're going to start building up cash. I feel like every time Chiefs is just putting themselves on the brink of getting some breathing room, they get shut down. Something doesn't go well for them. The pressure just really never stops mounting. Actually a force out of Hugh and Jinx. Skull as well, going for a scout. APOC and Maker saving a little bit of cash. See what they're able to do with this. Even if they were able to inflict a fair bit of damage to Renegades, they've got a bit of money in the back pocket, and if they win this round, they're staring down another anti-eco where they can build their cash back up.
Alter looking for those entries. He's going to cop a bit of fire in his face, although too far away to really do any substantial damage. And for now, Renegades are really just playing quite passive. The only one really probing at the moment is Malta. Bit of info perhaps being gathered in mid by Hats, now starting to back away. The same for Inns over toward A. He was down toward ramp, but now working into Palace. So it's a slow, steady approach here from Renegades. Again, they're really making Chiefs think that they're sort of one round slow, one round quickly. And Chiefs really can't get a good gauge on what Renegades are really hoping to achieve on this T side in any given round. And now not that much utility left for Chiefs here either. A smoke and a flash for Hugh, all that is there to their name. Skull might look for a headshot with the scout here. Not going to achieve that, and cops a bit of damage for his trouble as well. Hugh with the Deagle also missing his shot, and those are the two misses that are going to allow Renegades to set themselves up in some solid positions. Might have spoken too soon though, as Hugh and APOC Dud finding themselves a frag apiece to put a bit of that pressure back on Renegades, as the bomb plant does still need to go down with 10 seconds on the clock. Hatzel plants it safe. Inns deals with both Maker and APOC Dud in CT spawn, and it's Renegades up to 6, back in the front.
Yep, surviving with 3 weapons. Now they're going to run in an anti-eco. So that's going to give them even more time to build up their cash. Chiefs back to square one, unfortunately. But not doing too badly to trade some rounds back and forth here on Mirage. CT side is definitely the harder of the two. For this reason, exactly. You can just be reset very harshly from time to time. If you have a team that's great at cutting the map in half, getting up into connector and ladder room and window like Renegades, rotations can be a bit of a nightmare. Renegades have just run straight into B. Obviously, it was a bit of a mid-stack from Chiefs. And now they're going to be stuck behind a smoke over here towards Catwalk, see if they can maybe throw in a cheeky boost. Try to throw some bodies at some of these Renegades players and take a gun off 2 off of them.
Nice easy kill for Dexter onto Hugh. And you talk about throwing some bodies. Well, Sicko is the one that they'll be thrown out here, and he is eagerly anticipating that engagement. Helped out by Hats. It's the dynamic duo there for Renegades dealing with the anti-eco. Alter on the backside with the MAC-10. And 7-5 the scoreline. So that's no problems at all for Renegades, as we've come to expect out of their anti-ecos here in Road to Rio. Double AWP setup purchased by Chiefs. So they're trying to change something up. I don't know that it's going to work out too nicely for them. It does mean that they have to sacrifice not only the head armor for Maker and APOC Dud, and for the majority. I mean, I guess that's not a big deal considering full AK's out for Renegades, but more importantly, lacking a little bit of utility on this CT side. So Maker and APOC Dud are going to have to look for that opening pick to start things off pretty nicely for Chiefs. Otherwise, things will start to barrel out of control when Renegades get in position to execute onto a site.
Double AWP could be a good way to turn it around. But Renegades has enough cash to really be able to continue to buy forward throughout the rest of Mirage here. So if Chiefs want the next couple of rounds, they're going to have to do it the hard way. Gun round on gun round. Dexter makes his way into connector. Once again, you can see Sicko, as we had in our skybox little thing there, is being helped by Dexter, covered up to make sure he can get into ladder. Now Maker under a lot of pressure as the B-split comes in, but he's managed to pick 2 terrorists already. It's going to slow things down, and we might see them do the exact same thing as in the skybox video here, Jordan, as Sicko's gone down. Dexter's now starting to work his way into jungle, which means Hats is probably going to head through underpass back towards this A bomb site. Could this work again for the Renegades?
This is like exactly the same thing as what we talked about in that skybox segment.
Yeah, but I don't know if Hats is going to fall back. There you go. He's finally going to move his way back. We have a bit of a repeat here.
Yeah, it's just a bit more of a numbers disadvantage for Renegades, and that numbers advantage for Chiefs means obviously Dexter not aware Hugh still on the site. Will fall in the end. Hats in a 1-on-4. Pretty critical, though, that Chiefs actually keep these guns alive. Their money is not too crash hot. Admittedly, we are getting toward the end of the half, but I'm sure they would prefer not to have to invest as much. If they could avoid it, Hats in the end falls, and so that's pretty nicely done by Chiefs. 4 guns actually, 2 of them being AWPs. Come through the round, and it's 6-7 the scoreline here between Chiefs and Renegades. Maker doing a good job on that B-bomb site with the AWP. A big proponent of the success in that round for Chiefs, and he's always been pretty handy with the AWP. Has his moments, that's for sure. Into round number 14 we go.
Still rocking the double AWP. This time Maker, instead of being in the B apartments, is over here towards Palace, which is going to let Hugh push in. Unfortunately, misses the timing. That's a great pick for Chiefs to start things off. Smoke starting to fly out over this A bomb site as Renegades start to get out of A ramp.
Nice shot from Maker above the smoke. He's got Hugh beneath him in firebox as well. This is starting to look a little bit more difficult for Renegades now in the 3-on-5 as the grenade lands right on top of Hats' head. He's caught that one, that's for sure. Finished off easily by Skull. Renegades were quick into this B site though. Dexter seems to have cottoned onto that. There might be something for him. Jinx! Nice shot. Dexter flying across his sight line, ends up dying. So that leaves it on to Sicko here, and it may well end up being 5 guns alive for Chiefs as Sicko's pushed out of position by a molly. Starting to get encroached on, wrapped on by the Chiefs players, and just has nowhere to go.
5 alive.
Man, Chiefs have done a great job of really keeping themselves in the discussion here in the first half of Mirage.
Got to give them credit. They're looking to potentially try to 8-7 this half. Renegades still enough money to be able to buy, as we discussed earlier. The hard yards in terms of stabilizing their economy to continue to buy has definitely been put in. But Chiefs, like I said, they had to do it the hard way. It seems like perhaps the double AWP is the answer. Renegades now. Someone gone without a gun. Dexter has only got a Glock. Been flashed out mid.
Oh.
Dexter's going to run back to spawn.
Oh,
It's
no.
Hats though. There you go. He doesn't need a gun. He just needs a handful of flashbangs and a player called Hats on his team.
Yeah, exactly.
He could just run up mid and kill someone.
Hey, now he's got a gun. There's the AK picked up for Dexter. No troubles at all. Why invest in something that you can just take from your enemies?
Excellent. All right. Hats in towards ladder room here. Still could provide some problems. Apocdad deals with Malta trying to come out Palace, and here comes the A split. Hugh under pressure, getting mollied out under Balk. He does not have a smoke. Gets pushed out straight into Dexter's crosshair. Now Apocdad left alone, shoulder peek. Pushed in by Dexter. That's going to be it on the A site for the Chiefs.
It is, but over towards the B side of the map. Jinx at least is able to trade Hats down. So a 2-on-3. Still a doable position for Chiefs right now. If they get the timing onto Dexter, which unfortunately for Skull, he does not. So Jinx in the end will fall, and that's an 8-7 half. Renegades just picking up the lead at the end there, pipping Chiefs to the post. Either way, Chiefs a much better performance than what we saw on Train, and maybe there's something in this for them in the second half.
Even though we burn from the light I bleed, but she bring me back, not a heart attack could take away all the love I had for you. It bleeds for you, it bleeds again. Oh, you bring me to life. Oh, you bring me to life. Oh, you bring me to life. Oh, you bring me to life.
Seems like I can't get away from the hot sun. Always night and never day. Even when I wash the floor, the dust still comes. Keep on hunting for the bread. No matter how lost, need no light, no spark. I'm in line mode. With my eyes closed, I can see in the dark. I'm a quiet storm.
A better start for Chiefs in map 2 Mirage, which actually incidentally is Renegades' map choice. Does put them at an 8-7 deficit heading into the second half, but it's a far cry from the 3-12 deficit they had on Train. Heading more towards the middle of the map pool, we talked about that being a potential benefit actually for Chiefs, and it seems like that is coming to the goods here.
Perhaps. I think it's just a little bit easier to be in your comfort zone to try to complete an upset on some of the, you know, more familiar maps like your Mirages, like your Dust 2s. Chiefs, looks like Smoke's on the A bomb site. They're trying to cause some rotations from Renegades. You can see in Malta, he's sort of thinking about it. Now starting to move back towards the murder hole as the rest of Chiefs walk into this B bomb site. Yeah,
Hats has seen a couple as well on his way back towards bench. And he's just waiting for them. But Jinx saw where he was headed and knew exactly where he'd be. Dexter and Malta fighting hard to try and keep this one in the favor of Renegades. But now only Sicko who is on that B bomb site. The rotation starts to come across, however, from Inns, and he does a good job onto Maker. Sicko, as of yet, hasn't really had that much of an impact on the round. He's down on 20 HP, and he's going to have to do it alone now. He's lost 2 teammates to Hugh, and he might also lose his own life to him. That said, Apoctar does go down and puts it in a one-on-one headshot required here for Sicko. He's on 1 HP. But Start's already gotten a couple of kills in here and does finish off the third as well. Just a bit too close for comfort for Chiefs, but they do get over the line.
Yeah, it's a great pistol for them to be winning. Going to put them in a great position moving forward, and Hugh continues this fantastic tournament that we've seen from him, but just in general. Great pistol out from the Chiefs. What you didn't see in this round was that as that A hit came in, you had Skull, who was actually over towards triple, sort of lurking towards A. He didn't get anything done, but he kept 2 CTs there. And in theory, probably could have got himself a kill in a different situation. So we'll have the strat out from the Chiefs, and it's converted themselves into a pistol win. Now Renegades going for a bit of a force. Scout on Sicko, whole lot of deagles and grenades for the Renegades. Chiefs need to tread wisely. Just waiting for some aggression. Players on each of the extremities, Skull and Maker. You've got a couple of boys winding that top mid push. Seems like a pretty decent setup here for the Chiefs. But the clock's ticking down. They need to start making something happen. And you could see Maker as well as Apoc Dud starting to poke and prod at A. Hugh and Skull starting to push over towards B, apply some pressure, see if they can find a pick, but nothing really being given to them by Renegades. So as we're starting to move towards 50 seconds here, Jordan, Chiefs have got to make a decision. They've got to do something. Seems like Hats is actually pushing for some information. That's a great pick from Skull. You're going to see the effect of that on keeping so many of these Renegades players towards B. Skull is settling his fate excellently. You can see Dexter. He was thinking about rotating. Now he's just staying back towards A as this hit comes in from the Chiefs. It's him and Inns to hold it down.
Malta's going to call that he's not seeing much past that kill onto Skull, and so Dexter's going to stick around. Inns with the deagle, generally pretty dangerous. Gets a pretty good amount of damage out, and so too does Dexter. In the end, though, a 2-for-1 trade for Chiefs should see them comfortably now into the A site until Sicko appears. Just missing that shot onto Apoc Dud, and if he hit it, it'll be a totally different round at this point, but for now, still looking pretty tough for Renegades. Sicko continues the spam, and he does get a good shot onto Apoc Dud there in the end, but jumping over the bullet, and Apoc Dud finishes off Sicko. So it's just Malta now left alive, 1 on 3. A few low HP players on that Chiefs roster at the moment, but a difficult one for Malta to win here now, given that timer situation. So he's just going to give the round up, sitting there in connector, waiting to see maybe if he can find a gun here or two. unlikely at this point. And Chiefs are getting off to a fairly solid start here on the T side, making sure that Renegades at the very least are going to have to work for this economy, unlike what we saw on Train.
Yep. So Renegade's going to have to take a save around this Galil. Malta probably going to drop one of his teammates, the Deagle. Indeed. Picked up there by Dexter. So Chiefs losing a couple players there, but all things considered, not too bad of a result from them. They're going to continue building up some cash moving forward here on the T side. Get themselves up to 10 rounds. So they are in the driver's seat of this T side on Mirage. This is winnable for them. But as we often see with many of these teams, many of the top teams even in Australia up against Renegades, it's almost like when the game starts to get close and you're starting to head towards the tail end of it, that's when Renegades seem to power up.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Double nade, Dexter and Hats. That's over toward the B site though, and so Inns, he was hoping for a few headshots of his own, but he cops one.
Nice anti-eco. Wall of smokes across the right side of the site. Intelligent use of the Molotovs to flush out key positions. Couple of flashbangs, and Chiefs just go in there and they go in there hard. Lovely stuff.
There's another nice flash. Malta though, not too affected by that. I think it probably would have only been the Mac 10 there for Skull Hunter. Indeed it was. Hats picks it up. So not really much of a prize in this round for Renegades, unless maybe they can get rid of Jinx or Apoc Dud here, who will face. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case, and Chiefs go through with their third round in this half. 10-8. It's not a particularly imposing scoreline just yet that Renegades face, but they don't want to let this spiral out of control.
Alright, first buy round here for the Renegades. Malta's still holding on to that. Galil is actually going to be carrying it forward into this round to keep a bit of cash in the back pocket. Later on, that could be another route for Sicko if he chooses to buy it, to be honest. And that's a lot of pistols for the Chiefs, interestingly enough. Wasn't really keeping an eye on that as much, but definitely a sort of worrying statistic considering some of their results. They're winning a lot of pistols, they're putting themselves in a lot of good situations. You have to put it in the context of the fact that they're playing Renegades, they're playing Order. These are teams who often like to go for a force buy after they lose the pistol. And those are the round losses that you don't see recorded as much.
Yeah.
They lose the first pistol, they like to give themselves a second pistol. They're good enough to make it work sometimes.
Sicko's got the AWP. Hasn't been as impressive today as he was yesterday. But here's a nice chance. A hole in that smoke, and he dispatches of Skull. No worries at all. That's not a good start for Chiefs in the first gun round of the second half here. So now they'll just have to reset, slow things down a little bit. Hat's also gathering control of apartments. It's a deep smoke that Jinx is kind of in front of. The flash goes through. It won't affect Hats. Here's a chance for two. And he obliges, expecting the third as well. Knew that the flash had to have come from somewhere, and Hats just wins the round solo for Renegades.
Chiefs, still lots of money in the bank though. So a very, very solid gun round there for the Renegades. That's going to give them a hell of a lot of cash moving forward. Look how healthy that CT economy is. But Chiefs, benefit of the doubt, that was a bit of a shocker of the gun round, but they're going to be able to buy up again and have another crack at it, Jordan.
They are indeed. I'm hearing some tick-ticks. We might be getting a tech pause here fairly shortly. Take a quick look at how the stats are shaping up for this map. Humongous 16 and 9, and again, I would say he's probably been the most solid of the Chiefs players here in Road to Rio. But it's nice to see Jinx and Apoc Dud sort of contributing pretty effectively there as well. On the other side of things, Inns and Dexter. And we've already sort of talked about Renegades quite a lot, that you know, they do have a full squad, a full five that can kind of frag out when need be. They don't necessarily need to right now. It seems like they're sort of cruising along at the moment against Chiefs. They haven't really kicked into second gear, or fifth gear, I suppose, would probably be a better analogy right now.
I think most of this qualifier, they've kind of, except for Dust 2 against Order, they've kind of looked like they're in first gear.
Yep.
And I'd say they're starting to shift gears a little bit. Starting to put the foot on the gas pedal a little bit more, but they're going to need a fair bit more in the tank, I think, to be able to actually convert this lead, this good situation that they've got for themselves, which is already starting to slip away with that very convincing gun round Renegades posted in the last. They need to convert this Mirage win.
So Renegades take pause here. So what affects one of them probably affects all of them, being in that gaming house. It's an interesting thing that we don't really talk about all that much when we're discussing Renegades, is that gaming house. But do you sort of put down their rise to success as Greyhounds to that gaming house in any aspect?
Not really. I don't think gaming houses are very relevant in CS.
Yep.
I mean, you've even talked. We've already even talked to Gomez a little bit, who says, you know, they are pretty mixed in terms of the impact that it has on your CS team. It can be positive and negative.
Yeah, but I think there's no questions that it was a positive thing for Renegades. Certainly wasn't negative.
I think if you get on as well as the Greyhound Gaming boys do,
yeah,
maybe it is a good thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But if it's more of a professional environment where people see it as work as well as like not having that strong camaraderie that this team has,
yeah,
then maybe that's where it can be.
Personally, I wouldn't be too eager to play in a gaming house.
No.
I'm not sure about you.
I don't think I've ever really been like, you know, sort of okay friends with a lot of the people I've been on Counter-Strike teams with, but I don't think I've ever really been super close friends except for my very first team. So, something I can't really relate to.
I suppose it's a bit easier to be really good friends when you're the best team in Australia as well.
Well, they weren't always like that.
That's true.
They've earned that title.
Anyway, a bit of damage done early in the round to Jinx and Apoc, Dud. Not a whole lot thrown back in the Renegades' direction. So once more, we see a fairly sort of default standard chill kind of a setup from Chiefs. They've just got Maker watching over toward the A site, ensuring there's no push from Renegades.
Yeah, both of these teams on a lot of these T side rounds, very, very slow, waiting for aggression, waiting to try to punish any kind of pushes. And it's worked a handful of times, but half the time it also does really run down the clock. You can see Dexter, he's itching for a peek in the mid-round. He's going to be smoked off here. Now Chiefs starting to throw some utility towards Connector, but I think their eyes is on this mid to B split. Dexter starting to move back towards kitchen side. Malta going to drop this Molotov.
Hat's in a great position to deal with a few, but he needs to ensure he doesn't peek into Apoc Dud at the wrong time. And it turns out to be the wrong time, but not for Hats. Malta's here as well. That's a 3K for him, and he might well look for that fourth onto Jinx, which he's going to get. Renegades up 10 apiece now, and that's a nice round to win.
I don't think you could possibly have played that better as Malta. He just took all of the perfect angles,
1v1s.
played off Hats correctly, moved his way in and out of that van area. Beautiful stuff.
Super solid, super simple stuff for Malta. Makes it look easy, but it's really anything but. An update for you as well over on the B stream. Order have completed the 2-0 against Greyhound.
Ground Zero.
Ground Zero.
Greyhound 0.
I used to get that mixed up all the time because when Greyhound and Ground Zero played against each other, it was just a nightmare. But yes, they've got that 2-0, so Order, it's looking like with the way that this match is going, will probably be the team that takes second out of this group. Sicko. Ooh, he's helped out by Dexter, and that's really nice because you don't want to be dropping that orb if you can't, or don't have to, rather. Either way, they'll be able to pick it back up. Malta's gone and grabbed it there, so...
It's incredible how ready, like, they are for that rush into window. That's just such, like, heads-up play for Dexter to back up out of connector. I probably reckon, like, 9 times out of 10, a lot of players would, like, tunnel vision. They're like, oh, I've got a smoking connector here. I can just hold this smoke. But he actually just backs up to back off, backs off to back up Sicko there in window. And even though Sicko does go down, they deal with that anti-eco, which is a little bit unconventional, pretty nicely.
Yeah. Ooh.
Whoa, very nice nade from Dexter.
Dexter's a thinking man.
Big thinking man. He's also a big aiming man. Actually, he does everything.
He's a gaming man.
He's just a complete player.
I think he used to be a big lifting man back in the day as well. He was kind of jacked.
In and out of the server, as far as I'm concerned.
Anyway, he's hiding behind a smoke right now. Still got some pretty thick arms there on him. You can see in that little picture.
Great brain muscles. Great arm muscles for headshotting people.
Yeah, indeed. Humongous. Falls on down, and Dexter's not too interested in getting traded out here, so he just drops that incendiary down, keeps Chiefs a little bit busy in mid with the utility.
Renegades very strong money now. Some very one-sided gun rounds these last couple. Just going to make Chiefs, I mean, sure they have the loss bonus, sure they're going to continue to be able to buy AKs and armor, but they've got to win like 2 to 3 gun rounds in a row to reset Renegades' economy, and how likely is that with how Renegades are playing? It's looking pretty difficult.
HE goes through at a perfect time there for Hats as well, and you can see reaping the benefits of that. Jinx has to peek out of the smoke, so does Apoc Dud, and that's too easy for Hats.
He's alone on that side of the map. He goes down there, Sicko is still towards Murder Hole.
Yeah, but
it's possible for Chiefs.
It's Hats, man. That is like quintessential.
Yeah,
when I think Hats...
Yeah, but it's insert Renegades players' names, man.
True. But when we're talking about B-site Mirage, solo holding it, Hats is the turret. Like, that is literally, if you ask me for one thing that I associate with Hats as a player, it's holding the B-site solo on Mirage. He's just so good at it. That's not the first time I've seen him do something like that, and make it look really easy as well. Skullhunter not quite getting the timing there to take one more gun away from Renegades. It wouldn't have been a huge concern for this CT side, who's built a lot of money up. Just look at how easy he makes this look. A 1v1, a 1v1, and another 1v1. And he just knows where they're all coming from. 12 to 10.
Bit of a weird buy from Skullhunter there.
He saved.
Oh, sorry. Just goes to show you. I'm cooked. Rest of Chiefs just going to save around the AK. Chiefs bit of a contact walk in towards the apartments. See if they can get something done. I mean, just look at the money on Renegades, Jordan. Chiefs, they've had some pretty good rounds. They've had a pretty decent start to this game, but it's exactly what we were talking about. The second it starts to get close, you're just seeing Renegades. They're winning all of the critical rounds. That's where Chiefs just really need to dig deep and sort of hit a level that they haven't really hit very much in Rio so far, you know?
Yep.
They need to very consistently string together some impressive gun rounds.
Well, Dexter's gotten himself a pretty clean one there onto Hugh. And Skullhunter's going to look for the trade here, but Dexter's making it look too easy. Reminds you a little bit of that last round that Hats showed us. Either way, eventually Dexter will get traded down, but he's gotten 3 kills. Don't think Renegade's going to be letting this one slip.
I think that HE grenade just blew his gun into the window as well. I think Chiefs wanted that gun, and then the HE grenade just blows it into the window. It's like, nope.
Nope.
You wanted Dexter's rifle? Sorry, mate.
13 and 10. Seems like it's kind of slipped away from Chiefs a little bit in the last few rounds here. So I'd say we're getting to the point where we talk about it being the balancing point, the tipping point, and it's now starting to teeter over the precipice for Chiefs of not being retrievable.
I mean, Chiefs, they needed one of those 3 gun rounds.
Yeah.
They didn't get any of them. This is probably their last shot at trying to keep this game alive.
Sicko's going to make it a little more difficult. This nade to follow won't quite tag Hugh. So he'll survive for the moment, and it looks like they'll want to go quickly into connector. Sicko very much posted on the line, waiting. No scope. There goes Skullhunter, and another one onto Jinx. Sicko's a madman. He's a psycho until he's put down by Apoc Dud. But he gets a 2 for 1, and that is good enough. Maker creeps down the ladder next to Inns and makes an easy frag there for Inns. A double for Dexter. The round ends up being just a clean one again for Renegades. It's not even a problem for them at all.
They make CT side and Mirage look so good. They just play so well off of each other. Multi-frags aplenty. Confidence brimming. What can you even say? That's not a situation where Sicko should be able to get 2 no-scopes consecutively. Shouldn't be happening. Half buy from Chiefs. They're going to give themselves an outside shot at trying to take this round away without making themselves broke on match point. Don't mind that decision making. Definitely subscribe to that idea. Here's this B hit. Hats is actually out on an island by himself here. He's just going to hide in the smoke, wait for Dexter to come in and help him out.
Good damage done early here by Dexter, but Skull Hunter on 5 HP, still able to make it work with that Tech 9.
This is actually the round that Chiefs need.
Well, one of many.
Yeah.
It's
But
the start.
this is a good position with these pistols. It's very, very easy to overcommit and give Renegades an extra pick. That is just ridiculous. He hasn't even peeked out there, Apoc done. Now this short flank's coming in.
Oh, Jinx, a nice shot there. Keeps it hanging in the balance. Renegades really need to speed things up here. And that molly's gone too deep, but it doesn't matter. Jinx will peek anyway, right into Malta. It's a 2-on-1. USP's out. Humongous, his hit ends. That's the round over. They've actually won the round, Chiefs. Can you believe it?
They really needed that, and they didn't even fully invest. It was just a great decision. You go for the pistols and the armor, handful of utility. You go for a high percentage play. You know, that's going to make those kind of pistols work in the close quarters engagements. I'm very, very surprised that they found Hats, who was actually up on top of that double stack on the right-hand side of your screen in a smoke. I have no idea how Skull Hunter saw him there, but he was actually able to pick him off. There you go. Void, not playing with Ground Zero anymore.
Yeah. They've been knocked out of Road to Rio as well, and so sort of knew that that was kind of coming. And look, I don't want to sort of draw any conclusions into the results that Ground Zero had here, because in theory they should have lost all of those matches anyway. But I'm sure it doesn't help knowing that you have a player that's going to leave right after a tournament's conclusion.
Yeah, it's a difficult situation. It's actually pretty sad if you ask me. I think Void's quite a promising young player, so to see him not playing CS anymore, that's just another player lost that, you know, give him a little bit more time, give him some improvement. Could see him on a top roster.
Yep.
But, you know, I can relate to that. It's not always easy to continue to dedicate a hell of a lot of time to playing Counter-Strike when you've got some very, very good top teams in the region.
Yeah, should think about becoming a caster.
Oh, I rate that.
Apoc Dud's already gone down to ins. Renegades well on their way to getting toward match point here. But it'll be an A take for the Chiefs as they throw 3 smokes over, a few flashes to follow there as well. And it's not going to be too much of a problem at all for Inns, who does get spammed through the smoke by Maker. In the end, he's done a good job, though. A 2-for-1 as far as Renegades is concerned. Sicko posted up above the smoke, watching and waiting and ready to see if there's going to be a push from any of the players out from Palace. Dexter deals with Hugh, dives into the smoke, but that won't keep him alive for too long. Chiefs are really sort of slowing things down here. That's a critical aim duel actually won by Malta, to be quite honest. If he loses that, it really opens up the map. But now Maker in a 1-on-3, and he'll be spotted from every angle. Hats deals with it, and that's 15. That's match point for Renegades.
That's put Chiefs in a situation where half of their players have got about 3k in the bank. Not ideal, not going to be able to get AK's armor and utility with that. Hugh, enough for an AK and armor. Renegades towards the tail end of this game, once again, winning all the critical rounds, winning all the gun rounds. I don't know. Just powered up once again, look unstoppable. Nice
Jinx.
entry from Jinx.
Maybe they're not done yet. Maybe Chiefs can still keep this interesting. They need 4 rounds in a row to push it through to overtime, and they're making their way onto the A bomb site. Renegades certainly under a bit of pressure right now, but Dexter hiding behind this smoke, totally unexpected. While Hugh does check it, he can't even land a single shot. Dexter recalibrates his aim and finishes the second off as well. How's that shot gone past? I have no idea. Sicko will be filthy that that's missed Skull. Either way, it's a 3-on-3. Maker with a deagle peeks out from Firebox and will be finished off by Malta. And that turns us back to a advantageous situation for Renegades. They also catch Jinx out in the smoke. They must know where Skull Hunter is going to be. It's going to be an easy finish in the end for Renegades as they secure their 16th round here on Mirage. And that's the 2-0 that they were looking for today to complete the 3-0 sweep in the ANZ division of Road to